So you found my channel, but you thought, man, I like this guy's content, but I'm just not going to subscribe. I'm just going to watch the stuff and then leave. You couldn't just click the button. You just had to, you'd watch the thing and then you'd go. Is that what it is? Not gonna leave old Mr. Hydrager a subscription? You're better than that, huh? Okay. That's fine. That's fine. Okay, we're going to get into the actual tier list. You've heard my explanation. Now you can see it on the screen. The way this works is I just drag the weapon up. We're good, right? If you disagree with how I rate it when we get into this, just say so. That's fine. So first things first, we've got the Bulldog shotgun. If you don't know, I'm not a huge fan of the Bulldog shotgun. It plays well in Infinite, but it's not compared to like the pump shotgun that they had in previous Halos. I'm not a fan, right? It's not a hard counter to the sword anymore. It's a mediocre weapon. The spread is inconsistent. The distance you can shoot it feels inconsistent. This is the perfect example of something where I'm going to put it in like a B or C. I'm just trying to think of... I'm probably going to put this a C. We're going to put it in a C for now, and I might move these around later, but just to start, we're going to do a C, right? And that's... I think this is kind of a good starting point because, again, the reasoning for a C here is I think the old shotguns in Halo were way better. They just were. I mean, the OG pump shotgun was fun to play with. It countered the energy sword easy every time. Well, not every time, you know. You still had to, like, not totally suck ass, but, you know, you get the point. I thought it was better, right? I thought the old shotgun was better. This one is just serviceable. Is it better than some weapons that we're going to talk about? Yes. Is it better than all the weapons? No, not at all. So I think C is fair. Next up, we've got the BR. And if you're a Halo fan, you know the BR usually is goated, right? I mean, there's a reason why it's the weapon that you start with in ranked gameplay. It's kind of the default base weapon. It's better than a lot of other starting weapons that you'll get in some game modes. Is it the best weapon? Is it worthy of S tier? No. No, it's not. I would say the BR is A tier. The BR is A tier because over most weapons, you're going to want the BR, but not over all weapons, right? It's not going to win every single fight necessarily. Certainly, if you've got enough skill, you'll probably do all right, but the BR is not S tier. It's A tier. I think that's fair. Again, if you disagree, you can tell me that, but I'm probably going to hold firm. I'm probably going to hold firm and tell you that it is what it is. Okay, I'm going to pull it up. Next up is the Cinder Shot. I actually think, so if you haven't played Infinite yet, you'll see this in gameplay later. The Cinder Shot, I think, is a cool weapon. It's got a couple of different things that are new about it compared to old games, right? So first things first, the Cinder Shot has this effect. It's part of a new class of weapons, first of all, in Infinite, which is hard light weapons. Hard light is like an extension of some of the previous games where they had Sentinel weapons, or not Sentinel weapons, I'm sorry, Promethean weapons. It's an extension of that, or like an evolution of that. Hard light weapons have a few different things that do well with it. Number one, they can go through like enemies or vehicles and things like that. They also will bounce off of usually the first surface that they hit. So the Cinder Shot, the way to play with the Cinder Shot is a couple things. Number one, you're going to get the most bang for your buck if you aim at the ground and bounce it kind of in front of you, right? If you've got a mid-range enemy, you're going to clap. And that's why it's a power weapon on a lot of like basic like Slayer matches. But the other thing that I think a lot of people are still figuring out about the Cinder Shot is if you ADS with the Cinder Shot, you can actually guide where the projectile goes and control the bounce. That's huge. It's hard to get it right, but once you get it, once you get a good feeling for that, the Cinder Shot becomes incredibly powerful. Incredibly powerful. I think it's a really fun addition to the game. I think that compared to some of the newer weapons in the game, I think the Cinder Shot is up towards the top. Now, does that make it an S tier weapon? No. I'm going to say the Cinder Shot is the top of A right now. I would drop the BR for a Cinder Shot if I could get a hold of it. But is it S tier? No. I don't think so. I think it's a very high A tier. Maybe low S tier if we get a little further. And again, I can move these up or down based on sort of what I'm feeling like. But that's kind of where I'm feeling right now. So next up, we're going to pull the AR. The AR is like the default Halo weapon. If you have seen any like figurines of Master Chief, if you've seen any promotional material, Master Chief always has the AR. And the problem with that is because it's the default weapon, it has to suck a little bit. Right? Now they've buffed it and nerfed it a few different times throughout the series, and in its current state, it's probably a lot better than it has been in some previous games, but it still kind of sucks, right? Can you get a kill from across a distance with it? Not really. You can deal some damage, but it's going to be tough to get that across the map kill with an AR. It's going to be best in a mid to close range engagement, and it's just going to do damage. It's great if you're 2v1ing or 3v1ing because you're just going to melt somebody between three of you. But again, there's a reason this is like the default weapon. It's mediocre. It's not great. You're not going to pick it over any of the weapons that we've already ranked, right? If there's a shotgun in front of you or a BR or a Cinder Shot in front of you, you're going to drop the AR almost every time. So we're going to rate this. It's not S. It's not A. It's not even B. I'm going to say right now it's bottom C tier. It might even fall down to D tier at some point. But based on our current rankings, I'm going to say it's bottom C tier. Next up is the Commando. Now, if you haven't played the Commando, it feels like a slow firing, high caliber weapon in the game. And in all of the trailers and promotional material, this is what you saw, right? So like when you saw the campaign trailers, the Commando was what you saw, and it sounded cool. It looked cool. What a lot of people don't know is that this was like the technical replacement for the DMR in some of the older games. Here's the problem. The Commando in Halo Infinite sucks ass. There is no, in my opinion, functional use for the Commando. Because it's a DMR high caliber weapon type, you would think that you could, with well-placed shots, do a lot of damage and get a kill. You would be wrong. It's got a longer time to kill than the BR. It has several more body shots required to make a kill. I think at current pace, it's 8+ body shots to make a kill. And that is, because of its rate of fire, that's ridiculous. Even in close range, it's garbage. So, all this being said, this is going to be my first dog shit weapon. The Commando is dog shit. 343 needs to get rid of it and bring back a DMR or something like it. It's just bad. I don't know why they put this in the game. The only thing that the Commando does for Halo Infinite right now is it sounds cool. It feels cool to shoot. The problem is it does nothing at the other end. Your enemies are not going to fall in front of you. You're not going to pick this gun up in favor of, if you've got a shotgun, you've got a BR, you've got a Cinder Shot, you're not going to pick this gun up. Now, if you've got an AR, you're going to think about picking this gun up, but you really shouldn't. There's no reason. It's not going to help you. It's just not. Granted, these are all opinions. These are my opinions. That's why we're here, but I don't like it. It's dog shit. It needs to go. Fuck the Commando. Next up, the Disruptor. The Disruptor is part of another new class of weapons for Halo Infinite, electric weapons. It's an interesting concept. Electric weapons can EMP vehicles. Electric weapons can do persistent damage and break shields, or do persistent damage after breaking shields. This is cool. This is a cool thing. It's an interesting addition to the game. These are tough to actually fix. I don't know what to do in terms of scoring this, actually. I'm kind of thinking Disruptor. I'm gonna put Disruptor at mid-C. And that's just the way it is. I'm gonna put it at mid-C. I don't really care for it, and this is just me, but I think it's not quite D because it's not quite D because it's got the functionality of being able to EMP vehicles. The ability to EMP vehicles is, it's great. It's fantastic. I'm going to end up rearranging this, I can already tell you. In fact, just based on that, AR is going to D tier. It just is. AR is going to D tier. Sorry. That's what it is. If you're an AR fan, it is what it is. But we're going to D tier here. Next up, this one's obvious. If you don't know it, the Plasma Sword's S tier. It always is S tier. It will always be S tier. If it ever isn't S tier, stop playing fucking Halo. Stop making fucking Halo. They've changed some things about the sword this time around where you can clash a lot more than you used to be able to. I've seen somebody clash like 3 or 4 times and still be standing, although be, shield busted. But the sword is S tier. It has always been S tier. And again, if the sword ever stops being S tier, they should stop making Halo. You should stop playing Halo. Fuck it. That's all I'm going to say about that. Same with the hammer. Here's the important thing, guys. The melee weapons should be one-hit kills. They should, because it's a game that's so focused on long-range engagements and that kind of stuff. Swords and hammers are both S tier. And you want to know why they're so S tier? In Halo Infinite in particular, you've got 2 things that have made them even easier to win a fight with, and that is the grappling hook, the grapple shot, and your thrusters. With both of those pieces of equipment, with either one of them, you can close that distance that you had to close in old games so much easier. The sword is still over the hammer for sure. The sword is over the hammer anytime. But I think it's enough to say that the sword is faster, despite the fact that the hammer can get splash damage. I think it's that simple, right? So again, if you disagree with this stuff, I don't know what to tell you. The sword and the hammer are S tier. They always have been. They probably will continue to be. There you go. So next up, we're going to jump into, I believe this is the Heat Wave. The Heat Wave is, I think, a kind of redone version of a Sentinel weapon from Halo 4 or 5. The Heat Wave's just okay, man. The Heat Wave is just okay. It's got some cool applications for it. Much like the Cinder Shot, because it's a hard light weapon, you can bounce projectiles. And so in closed spaces, especially on arenas, you can make some stuff happen with it. It's like a hard light. like a hard light. What's the word I'm thinking of? It's like a hard light shotgun. And the cool thing about some of these new weapons is it's got alternate fire modes that you access by ADSing. So with the heat wave, you can either have a horizontal line of projectiles, or you can do like a cluster of projectiles. Again, sort of more like a shotgun. With these two, if you hit your shots, it's awesome, right? And again, especially in enclosed areas, it's really powerful. You're not going to win any long distance engagements with it, again, much like the other like the shotgun and stuff like that. But it's fun. I think it's a good addition. It's one of the rare good additions in this game of new weapons. So I'm going to actually put this in B for right now. I'm going to say it's B tier. That might change, but for right now, I'm saying the heat wave is B tier. Next up, the Hydra. The Hydra also has 2 different fire modes. You can just shoot the fucking thing, or you can ADS and it'll turn into a mode where it seeks the target. There is only one use case for the Hydra in this game, in my opinion, and that is aerial vehicles. If you're playing big team battle or an arena that has, aerial vehicles, that's what you use the Hydra for. For everything else, the Hydra sucks. If you're free firing the Hydra, it sucks. If you're homing, it still sucks. It's going to be like 4 or 5 shots, and these are like rocket propelled explosives. So I'm going to say the Hydra is D tier. Hydra is D tier. You've only got one thing you want to use it for. If you don't have that situation going on, you're getting rid of it. And in that regard, I think it's valid because the Disruptor, you can use it for essentially the same thing. And it will still work, right? You think AR is B tier? I think it's just the most default weapon. I don't know. I'm not a big fan of the AR. At least in this game. Now I'll tell you, the AR in Halo 5, the AR in Halo 5 was actually good. You could win fights with that consistently. And of course it's iconic, right? Because it's like Master Chief's fucking weapon, but I don't know, man. Just wasn't my speed. Now we've got the Mangler. The Mangler is the brute pistol weapon. It is a kinetic weapon, right? So it's shooting like single shots, but unlike some of the previous Halo games where the brute pistol weapon was like a shotgun, this is like, it's almost like a pistol sniper, right? Like you're gonna shoot somebody one time with a well-placed shot with this, and you're gonna be able to then follow up with a melee, and that's a kill every time. It's almost like a hand cannon, right? You're never gonna get a one-hit kill, right? You're never just gonna shoot somebody and kill them with it, but it's much more precise than like a like a sawed-off shotgun or something like that. In a gameplay scenario, its ability to pull off that combo of shooting and then melee, I think it's huge. So we're going to, I don't know how I'm going to score this one. I'm not sure how I feel about that. I'm going to put this in C tier, mid C tier. Yeah, I don't know how I feel about that, but that's where I'm going to stick it. I would say I definitely would pull the Mangler over these other weapons. I'm trying to think. There's some situations where you would for the others. I don't know. That's kind of how I feel. I might change that. Next up is the Needler. They've changed the Needler for this game in an interesting way. So much like the older games, you can shoot it. Disruptor is top tier. I don't know, man. I'm sure it is for certain situations, but I don't know. I'm trying to base this on what weapon am I going to drop the other weapons for. So, like, I would drop the Disruptor for these other ones. So the Needler, right? The Needler it's a weird situation because you're not doing a ton of damage until you get like the super combine kill. Until then, you're like barely chipping away at somebody. So like you can get your shots in and get your melee, get your kill, but it's just not a great time. You know what I mean? It's still the Needler. It's still iconic. It can be fun in certain situations. I think I'm going to put this at B tier. In fact, I'm going to put it at B tier over the Heatwave. You can disagree with me if you want. I'm going to put that in B tier over the Heatwave. I am. Next up is the new sidekick pistol. The sidekick pistol is alright. It's reliable. It does good damage. There are a lot of situations where it's okay to carry the sidekick pistol. I'm actually going to put the sidekick pistol at the top of B tier. The sidekick pistol is something you can reliably get kills with. It's very accurate, so you can get your headshot kills with it too. Does good damage. I think it's well balanced. I like it a lot. I'm sitting here looking at this though. My problem is like I've dropped the pistol for a shotgun and stuff. I don't know, man. I don't know. Next up is the plasma pistol. Guys, it's just dog shit. The plasma pistol is pure fucking dog shit. It's lost one of the core functions. It's lost one of the core functions it had from OG Halo, which is disabling vehicles. And I know that they've transferred that to the EMP, the electric-based weapons. I don't care, man. I just don't care. The plasma pistol is something I will never drop a weapon for. I would never will. I've had it. It's okay to like fuck around with in Fiesta type matches. It's dog shit. They need to give it something different because you can't do enough damage with it. Yes, it's got the homing projectile if fully charged. That's cool, but that does nothing but guarantee you a pop shield if it even hits, and it's slow moving enough that you can dodge it. It's dog shit. Dog shit. Now, compared to that, the new plasma carbine is interesting. The plasma carbine can reliably pop shields and do a lot of damage, but it's tough to get kills once you get into it. Once you get into a confrontation, once you're actually fighting, you're gonna get that shield pop if you can aim your shots, but it's tough to get that kill because plasma weapons don't do as much damage to enemies after their shield's popped. It'll melt a shield. It will not do a lot of actual personal damage. So I'm going to put the carbine right there in C tier. I would rather have a shotgun than it, for sure. For sure, for sure. Next up, the Ravager. Dog shit again. The Ravager is the worst fucking weapon they've ever added to Halo. I don't care to debate it. It's a pure fact. The Ravager sucks. It's got the AoE damage. You can charge it up and leave an AoE of consistent damage, and it can pop a shield, and it can even potentially, get that kill if it's a last hit or whatever, if somebody's stupid enough to sit in it. But it's so situational. It's so bad. I hate it. I don't like it. It's the worst weapon they've ever put in the game. I would have rather seen the fully charged shot do big damage. It doesn't. It's bad. It really is bad. The Spanker, man. The Spanker is weird in Halo Infinite for a couple of reasons. Number one, it has almost no blowback damage. Unless you literally can see your feet in your field of view when you shoot it at the ground, you're probably not going to die by self-firing. And the AoE, when you shoot it at somebody, the explosion radius, the sweet spot to get a kill is so much different than it used to be. You used to be able to shoot in somebody's vicinity and the explosion would kill them. This is old Halo. You can't do that anymore. It's just not like that anymore. It's almost like it's been nerfed in certain ways. And I think it really is the sweet spot and the radius of damage. But it's not as good as it used to be. I would rather have the Cinder Shot. I really would. I prefer the Cinder Shot. I think it's more creative. I think it's more fun to play with. I would rather have the Cinder Shot. Next up is the Sentinel Beam. And I think with the Sentinel Beam, they've actually buffed it this year. Or not this year, recently, like since the release of the game. In the beta time frame, the Sentinel Beam sucked. But since they've released the full game, I think they've patched it a little bit and done a bit of a buff on it. I feel like it does more damage than it used to. That doesn't mean that it's a weapon that I want to carry all the time. It's good if you're in a team engagement and you've got multiple people that are able to, lay down fire. It's going to do a lot of damage and help them get their kills. It's not likely to get the kill to actually close out an engagement. I'm going to put it in C tier. I also don't, and because it's kind of it's almost like a sidearm, but like a hard light sidearm. Usually in a lot of engagements, you're going to use your sidearm to finish a fight. You're not going to do that with the Sentinel Beam. I think it's the bottom of the C tier. Next up is the electric rifle, or the storm rifle, thunder rifle, whatever the fuck it's called. I like it. I think it's creative. It's new. A lot of people don't know, but it is technically a sniper. But instead of a single shot, it's technically a burst. It shoots out 3 projectiles. And that's why if you get your headshot with it, and it actually is your headshot kill, you'll get a perfect medal in the game for that. Because you're actually hitting 3 shots all at once. I like it a lot. I also especially like it for its ability to EMP vehicles, right? I think it makes it versatile. It also is bladed, so if you get the melee off, it does additional bladed damage. I like it a lot. It's cool. It's unique. It's fun. I'm going to put it at the bottom of A tier. On the flip side, you've got the Skewer, and I think the Skewer is the coolest new weapon they put in the game. It's satisfying. You hit the kill. It's a sniper, right? The whole idea is it's a long distance sniper weapon type. It's a ton of fun. It's got a long reload time, kind of like the Spanker. It's got the blade with the added melee damage if you run into those situations. I just like the Skewer. Getting a kill with it is so satisfying. Shooting down a vehicle with it is so satisfying. I think it's versatile. I think it's good. We're going to put it middle of A tier. The Sniper. The Sniper is one of the only weapons that is a guaranteed headshot kill. So is the Skewer, right? So is the storm rifle if you hit all your shots, right? If they move, you can actually lose the headshot on it. But problem is the Sniper. Otherwise, I have felt, and I'm sure not everybody agrees with me, but I have felt that the Sniper it's harder to actually get the no scope off with the Sniper in Halo Infinite. It doesn't feel the same. I think maybe some of that is because of the issues with desync in this game. I think that has a lot to do with it. But regardless, the Sniper is part of the problem, right? I don't like the changes that they've put into it. And maybe there are no changes. It's just that the servers are inconsistent enough and there's enough desync where it feels like shots that should have landed aren't. I don't know, but that's my experience, and that's why I'm not going to put it as high as I might have in old games. Like Halo 3 Sniper, God, that shit felt good. Halo Infinite, I mean, it's still good to get a good shot off. Get that headshot. Makes you feel clean. Makes you feel good. It's not as good as it used to be. It's B tier. For me. Last, and almost certainly least, fuck the Stalker Rifle. What a shitty fucking weapon. I'm going to put it at the top of the dog shit pile. Why they decided they were going to get rid of the beam rifle for this, I don't know. The beam rifle was fun. It was powerful like the sniper rifle because you could get a single shot headshot off from it. It was satisfying. The Stalker rifle is a sniper rifle in name only because you cannot get a one-shot headshot off with it. You've got to land multiple shots to get the kill from any distance. It's not fun. I don't like it. And it doesn't make it better that it's colored red. Like that doesn't add the appeal to the game for me. You guys are seeing all the white versions of the weapons, which are like the variants from campaign. Most of these weapons, if they're white, are actually red in the game. But again, the Stalker rifle is dog shit. So is the Commando, so is the plasma pistol, so is the Ravager. The Ravager is the most dog shitty of all the dog shit. And all 4 of those weapons should be removed from the game. They need to put the old variants of them in, put in new, different, unique versions of them in. I don't know, but the current versions of all of those suck ass. They don't add anything to the game, in my opinion. In fact, in some ways, they take away from the game, especially if you're playing Fiesta or something like that, and they're what you're stuck with. You're just not having a good time. Good concepts in there, right? Like, I like the idea of the Commando. If it was as powerful as it sounds, it would be awesome, but it's not. So, I don't know what else to say. That's all I've got. So, all of that to say, that's my tier list. I'm gonna post it online. You guys can check it out. I'm gonna put this on my Twitter and on my Facebook. Fuck it. I'm just gonna we're gonna screenshot it.